Right, this is my second part of my predictions for the UFC UFN. I'm going to jump straight in, and I'm going to go straight for Tommy Spear and Anthony Johnson. Okay, the interesting thing about Anthony Johnson is that although he looks like a can in record, I have taken the liberty of looking at the people he has wins over. He has a win over Chad Rayner by TKO, I believe, and Chad Rayner has a record of 17-3. So this can is quite possibly not a can. We are possibly looking at a Joe Lauzon type Jens Pulver meet. That's the second time I've mentioned him in a contest he has absolutely no place in, but at the moment. But there we are. Okay, so can't help thinking that this person should be taken as a upset causer and not a can. He shouldn't be viewed like that because he's done dangerous things before. Having said that, I think that in terms of a TKO or something like that, Tommy Spear should be alright. Not only does he train with Matt Hughes, but he's also supposed to be of the same ilk. We know that Hughes has a very, very good chin. I'm quite expecting that Spear, although he may take some shots from this guy, he shouldn't have too much problem there, I'm hoping. I'm looking, hopefully, for a TKO win with Tommy Spear here. As quickly as possible, just to put us all out of our misery, would be nice. However, I also think that if he were to go for the ground game, this would probably be a safe person to do that on. The danger with this guy appears to be on his feet, where he has caused an upset before. So, you know, I think Tommy can cope with that personally. But if he were to take it to ground, I don't think he'd have too much of a problem there either. I will go for TKO anyway by Tommy Spear, and it totally depends. I would like it to be in the first. I think it could possibly be in the second. If it goes into the third, well, yeah, okay, whatever. The second bout, which I'm interested in, is the Roman Michian versus George Sotiropoulos match. The only thing I remember from Roman is he was a bad-tempered youth who got hurt in the evaluations during the most recent TUF, I believe it was, and had to be told by Matt Serra to go home before the contest began. The other guy did quite well in that same series, I believe, and he's actually managed to beat Billy Miles by submission since. I have to support him. I like him. I've spoken to him online a significant amount in the past. We swapped comments, etc. And I do really think that this should be no problem for him. I'm going to go for a submission win by George. However, I could see if Roman actually was worthy of TUF in the first place, I could see it him going to decision and losing to George that way. But I'm hoping for a submission. I'm hoping for it, you know. I would like it in the second or third rounds because I'd like to be able to see on YouTube sort of how good George is, really. I'm quite interested in his fights. So you know, if it goes on a long time, I won't worry about it. I should just enjoy it when I see it on YouTube. Okay, Kurt Pellegrino and Nathan Diaz. Now, I really like Nathan Diaz. I liked the way he handled himself with the outburst from that awful Caro Parisian. The problem is, Kurt Pellegrino is Jojo's friend. And I don't want, you know, with Jojo not being around at the moment, I don't want Kurt Pellegrino to sort of, you know, I don't want to make things worse by Pellegrino having to lose. So I think that with them both liking submissions, and them both having been subbed, but with Nathan Diaz only ever having been subbed by somebody like Hermes Franca, who we know was quite big and contested Shirk for his title. I am going to have to say that I think Nathan Diaz will win by submission, but I'm rather hoping that Kurt Pellegrino wins. As I say, I sort of like them both, but you know, I would love to see a TKO win by Kurt Pellegrino, but I just I don't know. Alright, Tiago Alves and Caro Parisian. Okay, Alves has beaten John Alessio and Little, so he's not to be taken lightly. I think he will be a serious run for Parisian's money. To be honest, the guy, Parisian, has a bad character. He hasn't actually subbed continually since 2001. He has only 2 submissions since then. You know, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say I would love to see Tiago win by decision over Parisian. I really would. If he doesn't, I see that as being reversed. I see it as a decision win either way. And the final one, of course, is the Kenny Florian Joe Lauzon match. I'm going for Joe on this. Kenny has a record of 8-3. What I think he's doing at that level, I'm not really quite sure, considering, you know, when you're looking at people like Joe, he's got a record of 16-3. So that just goes to show there's a difference in records here. And I don't know how Kenny Florian has managed to get half the publicity he has. I don't know how they legitimised his shot in the first place with Shirk when the lightweight category reopened. I don't know how they managed to do that. Looking at him, he's had losses to Fickett and Sanchez. His only real name is Kit Cope. Well, you know who's heard of him. I see Joe Lauzon, who's on a 6-win streak, continuing. I think this is because he is trained with Penn, who has been good for him. We've seen his improvement. We saw it when he faced Jason Reinhardt, even though I happen to have supported Reinhardt at the time. Obviously he has a win over Jens Pulver. Well, I had to say that, didn't I? However much I dislike that, he does. Those are serious names that Kenny hasn't got. I just would like to see Lauzon win this one and be in contention, because we all know that if Sean Shirk were to fail in removing BJ Penn, Penn will be around for some time, and eventually those two are going to have to meet, whether they like it or not. And there's nothing that I like more than watching BJ Penn being squashed, and there's no more intrigue than a sort of a battle between a mentor and a mentee. In the case of Joe, who has been very quiet in saying, you know, talking about the fact that if he's not careful, he's going to end up having to fight the person he trains with. And Penn has made it very clear that that is exactly what he will have to do in terms of reaching gold. So, you know, I want this to set up something like that, because I feel that whilst Roger Huerta is probably next in line, I do think that with a good win, good solid finish over Kenny Florian, a nice submission or something like that, yes, you know, Joe will be in line, and that is something that I want to see.